All right, so we went live, and as soon as we went live, Steve crashed.
I was wondering where he went.
I literally heard the song start, and then I saw the song cut out, but then
Yeah.
Steve was there. But then it became it was a black screen with the little circle going around.
Oh,
I'm
nice.
like, oh, that's not good. And it was still saying scheduled. It wasn't saying live. So I thought we
Yeah.
weren't live. But in fact, before his shit crashed, we went live. So here we are.
He's reloading as we speak.
Is that what he said? All right. Internet. Yep, that's what I figured. It was his internet that just shit the bed. My friend just
Technology for
let
you,
him
right
live.
when you need it.
Yeah, I know, man. It's like that thing when I don't know if this is still a problem because I feel like most people email
Yeah.
documents now, like even in school. But like back, it was all this always happened. You had a paper due in high school or
Yep.
college. You finished it like it was written, and you went to print it. It never worked. The printer had a feed error. It was running
Nope.
out of ink. You didn't have the driver.
There
You
was a
restarted
network error.
any number of things, and you're like, "Listen, I tried. It's done. I can show." Them. They're like, maybe you could bring it on a floppy
This
disk or
the War
something.
Report coming live every Tuesday at 7.
I don't know.
Steve Cat,
What's a
Ryan,
fucking
Man,
podcast without a fucking
and the
issue?
voice of NEW, Vince Perry. Hitting all the topics like a clothesline flurry. Turn up your speakers and hear them out. You can listen from your car, even on your couch. They too raw, who NXT? Handing out smackdowns, follow on IG. Plus, it's sponsored by TagMeADate. Go to YouTube and sub now for every update. It's all wrestling here. No safe space. Now listen in. Time to hear from some of the greats.
Officially,
Officially,
welcome
now
everybody
that-
to the War Report podcast.
all right, yeah. So me and Ryan and I, because we were live, we were just talking for a minute or so.
I know.
And
I heard you, and I purposely
uh,
cut you off. I said, "Fuck it, I'm just gonna play the
that's
music."
fine.
I don't know
Exactly.
what the fuck happened. My fucking
There was
goddamn.
no better way to do it than cut me
Every
off.
fucking week,
Yeah.
man. It's got to be something. But
That was entertaining waiting to come in hearing, not going to lie.
well, that's great. But starting with Paige, unfortunately, it's going to be probably the last time we hear this theme song in a very long time. Welcome everybody to the War Report.
Oh, of course, yes. Welcome to the War Report podcast. We're going to talk all things
No
pro
problem.
wrestling. This this lovely Tuesday evening. Paige wrote an op-ed or an editorial something. She wrote an article for a website called the Players Tribune, and a lot of they've I'm kind of glad because the Players Tribune. I've in the past read articles that like Derek Jeter wrote or Alex Rodriguez or whatever, and it was all legit, quote unquote, legitimate sports figures. And then all of a sudden, like John Moxley wrote one, Eddie Kingston wrote one, Paige has one now, and hers is talking about uh, basically as a thank you letter to the WWE for the majority of her career, being there and most of the success in her career being there. Obviously, she had success in the Indies in the UK before, and that's how she got noticed. But it was the training down in Florida. It was the NXT run. It was the main roster, uh, winning the title on the first night run, like all kinds of things. Like they WWE took care of her for a long time, and even when she was injured, and they didn't think she was going to, there was basically no chance she was going to come back. They kept her on as an authority figure. They kept her on as a manager for Asuka, the Kabuki Warriors. They kept her on a Legends deal basically to you know compensate her for essentially not being able to do what she wanted to do as a career anymore. She effectively couldn't wrestle anymore, at least in WWE. The asterisk being, she has said on Twitter a number of times that she believes that she is cleared or can get cleared, but will not be cleared by WWE's doctors no matter what happens. So, in order to wrestle again, she would have to go somewhere else, presumably AEW, presumably places like Tokyo Joshi or Stardom or Ice Ribbon. I'm sure I'm missing a few others. There's a lot of Joshi promotions over in Japan that would love to have her. Obviously, she could go back to England, but I think the best way to do it for her is to sign with a bigger company.
All right. So
and have a statement made that says their doctors have cleared me to compete if and only if she is ready. You know, I don't want to see her come back and then get injured and be paralyzed the rest of her life. I think she has to be ready. You know what I mean? She has to be 100%, 110% cleared before coming back.
a few weeks ago, I had mentioned the idea that would probably never happen, but the idea of a female type of NWO. And right now, you got Paige, you got Naomi, and you've got Sasha fucking Banks. Presumably all free agents who could sometime in the very near future show up in AEW. And what better way, right?
And don't forget, Bailey has come out publicly also as well, not being thrilled about the way Sasha was treated.
I still think that doesn't mean Bailey's going anywhere, in my opinion.
I agree, but her contract ends in November.
Well,
yeah, I don't think. I think they're going to do everything they need to make sure Bailey stays.
Also, if she's injured, they do that thing where if you're injured, they can freeze your contract for the length of that injury. So it's very possible that even though, because
Bailey's
been over
cleared since the Royal Rumble, though.
See, but then I heard that she's still not.
What the fuck are we doing?
Cleared.
Like, that's what I don't understand. What the fuck are we doing?
Well, how long did it take them to let Asuka back on TV? She had been cleared for how long? Bailey, yeah. I mean, Asuka was sitting in catering for a while.
I think Asuka's the better wrestler and overall a wrestling legend, but it's weird to me that she's back before Bailey, because Bailey should be, in their eyes, a bigger deal because she is a product of their system and a big star and younger than Asuka and is a WWE lifer, essentially. So you would think if she was ready.
It also doesn't mean that they don't have something huge planned for Bailey.
Well, I hope so, but I feel like, Ryan, you're better at this than I am. Can you look up when the last time Bailey actually wrestled was?
I'm pretty sure we're approaching a year.
I know it's been a year.
I feel like it's been over a year since they announced the ACL injury. Yeah, Paige, I agree. Paige did a very nice thing by writing that article. And in fact,
it was the last time Bianca Belair was champion, so it was before SummerSlam.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, because Bailey was supposed to take on Bianca.
Oh. And then that was when Becky came back unexpectedly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ha.
There we go.
So we're pushing a year.
Yeah. But just briefly, Paige wrote, very nice article. Daniel Bryan, actually, when he wrote his article, said some very nice things about WWE, as you would with the way that they overall treated him throughout his career, even though there were some down bits. But it's nice to see them acknowledge that. I'm sure we'll get into some of it later, but with everything that has come out over the last couple of weeks. Yes, you can talk nice about the company and you can talk nice about the guy behind, at the head of the company. How he treated you has no bearing on how he treats other people. So I get it, but it's just all very weird with the things we kind of know now. But anyway, it's been a year now, so it's been over a year. And yeah, if Bailey's been cleared since the Royal Rumble, that's fucking January. It's July.
It's hard to
if the
believe
plan
that
is
you
a
can't
su-
find a spot for her.
well, unless the plan is a big SummerSlam, like literally coming back at the pay-per-view to get a
Yeah.
huge reaction, which is fine, sure. Um, if that's
I
what they
don't
wanna
think
do.
it's an issue of them not having something for her. Bailey, you can stick in any situation and they can make it work. So I don't think it's that. I really just think she's not ready. That's the only logical explanation as to why she
Yeah.
hasn't come back already. Because you could have easily had her be a seventh person in the Money in the Bank as as a surprise, or something. So
That's true. It's true. Yeah, it's all very strange. But anyway, back to the point we were trying to make about having these free agents now. Paige officially done with WWE. Um, from what we've heard and from things that have been intimated on social media, it seems that Naomi and Sasha are both now no longer employed by WWE.
you want to know
Uh,
why I think it's a real deal now, like 100%? Forget about the fact that they removed him from the roster page and all that.
right.
I had a Sasha Banks peacock icon.
Yes, I heard about that.
And it automatically switched to Roman Reigns.
Oh,
And
wow.
and now your options are Roman Reigns or Asuka. That's it. So they even removed her fucking icon. So as far as I'm concerned, she's officially done.
Yeah, well, the other thing was, uh, what's his name? One of the former Lucha House Party, Lindsay Dorado, maybe
Or
posted.
Kalisto.
One of the guys posted a tweet about doing good lucha things. There was the same guy who made the good lucha things
Yeah.
promo, so maybe it was Kalisto. I think it might have been. So Kalisto said it's almost time to do some good lucha things, and then Naomi responded on Twitter like, "Yeah, it's time for me. Me too," basically, like saying. It kind of implying like her next stop was to do lucha libre stuff, which means that she's going down to Japan, or not Japan. What am I saying? Mexico. Holy shit. I'm a dummy. But
It was
anyway,
one of
yeah,
the
going
two.
down. It's one of the two. Those are the only other big spots. So, but no, going down to Mexico, and I could see that because whenever there's a free agent, one of the first things that happens is they get a call from the big Mexican companies, either CMLL, or AAA, would gladly pay a very big fee to get Naomi or Trinity or whatever they're going to call her on the show to kind of sell like their next Triple Mania event or whatever it is that, their next big pay-per-view. They will gladly pay a lot of money because it'll draw people in, and it'll also draw uh, the streams and the rentals and all that. So
Also, bring a
Mexico's not a
lot of
bad landing
conversation.
spot. What was that?
Bring a lot of conversation to it.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of there will be a lot of buzz around the first place that Naomi and or Sasha wrestle. I assume they're going their separate ways. They're not going to be a package deal.
I can't
So
imagine.
there will be
Well-
buzz for Naomi, and then there will be buzz for Sasha.
There will be buzz for both. I don't think you'll have anywhere near as much buzz as you will for Sasha. And I think I think it's more important that Sasha is a surprise wherever she shows up. Like there should be no promotion. This needs to be like the day of the event. You fucking incognito bring her in, put her in a trailer by herself for hours. Don't let anyone know, including your commentary. So it's all raw, real reaction. Ideally AEW, in my opinion. But if you get Sasha to just show up and confront, I mean, in my opinion, you have to go right for Britt Baker. You have Sasha confront Britt Baker out of left field. Can you imagine what JR is going to sound like on that mic with Shivani? I mean, it's just going to be fucking bananas, bro. Like that's what you need to have,
Yeah. No, I agree. I think in AEW tradition, or at least it used to be, and they haven't done it recently, but there was a tradition of people driving their way to the ring to make a debut or re-debut, whether it was FTR in a pickup truck, Cody had some big obnoxious like Hummer thing. The Sue had the white van for when Trent came back. You know what I mean? Like they had these like entrances where people would drive in. So I think it would be very appropriate if she drove in a Mercedes. And that's her first
That'd be
debut,
fun.
was literally driving a Mercedes into the arena.
Now you're talking.
And what was it? What did you suggest? Mercedes something. Mercedes Banks as like a potential. I don't know how they would. I don't know if WWE would let them get away with using the last name Banks, right?
It's a common enough name that you could slip by. I mean, how are you going to trademark a bank when there's literally a
Yeah, well, because there's
Race
Aleister
called-
Black. Aleister Black is not Malachi Black,
yeah
but he kind of is. You know,
yeah
he kind of is, but he's not legally distinct.
Just call her Banks.
Just call her
Or
Banks.
just call her Mercedes, the legit boss.
They should. What if they go? Is it Springsteen? They gotta get permission to call her the boss. Could she come out to a Boss song? Should she come out to a Springsteen song? No. Wouldn't fit her style.
I think Snoop's got to create something new for her for AEW.
I think it would be very appropriate if she did something on the track as well. I don't know if she sings or raps, but maybe they can just auto tune her a little bit and throw her on there if she can't. But she should.
Does Snoop
I think
have the
she
rights
should
to the
be.
song?
Oh, that's true. Is it a
WWE owned one, or
WWE
is it
song
Snoop's?
or is it? Yeah,
It could be a situation like the Hardys music where it's like,
that's what I'm saying. Who holds the rights to the music?
can you imagine if she gets to use that music and shows up? Dude,
That'd be so fucking funny.
you think the roof flew off for Cody coming back to WWE and using the Nightmare music? Imagine what Sasha Banks would be in AEW with her fucking Snoop shit. No, it would be amazing.
Regardless of the music, I think whatever it is, what they do, they have to make sure the presentation is like there, not just there, but over the top. You know what I mean? They have to make it a big deal. Her music should be good. The Titantron should be good. The fucking whatever it is, if she has pyro or the lighting or lasers or whatever it is,
Consolation prize is we'll never have to hear "It's boss time" again.
What about
man.
getting Snoop for her debut?
Yeah, Snoop. I mean, I can see Snoop, crip walking and rapping a song.
Yeah,
for
like
her
have
debut.
him come out, start the
start performing, and then have her come out
and have her come out to follow.
Hell yeah! No, I would be down with that.
That way you
What if-
build up the pop. You get
Yeah.
Snoop
What if they
and then
called
you're like,
her-
"Oh, crap."
What if they called her Mercedes Boss?
How butthurt would WWE be if Snoop did go live to AEW? Because he's a Hall of Famer too.
Snoop
know what I mean?
Snoop did the world's worst top rope splash in AEW during the pandemic.
That's
He's been
true.
on
That's
This is
true. I
true.
forgot. That's true. I tried to block that out because it was that horrible.
Well, it was so bad, Sasha.
But it was so
even-
great.
Right, Sasha even tweeted about it. Was like, you could have asked me how to do this first. Like, why didn't you? You could have said something. Like remember when you were a kid and you jump up into an in-ground pool, you call it the pencil dive, and you just put your hands to your side and you just jumped in straight down. That's what he did. There was he didn't even try and like make a cover or do like a crossbody like Ricky the Dragon Steamboat or something. Like there was no thought. It wasn't a 5-star frog splash. It was like a 1-star pencil dive. It was terrible. But he
did his
meant
best.
well. He did his best. I do hope that he makes another appearance. It would be very cool if he wrapped his way in. I want Tyson to make another appearance. I thought that was cool that Tyson got involved a few times. Like, it doesn't have to be Tyson is wrestling in a match like they would do in WWE, WWE and WCW both tried to get him in a match. And the best they could do is he would agree to be a referee. He didn't do the matches, but I like, I think having guys like that show up is cool as like kind of one-off things. And Tyson having a story with Jericho where like I think at first they were like enemies, and then the next time they like smooth things over. Like it's nice to see that they would continue that. Like if Tyson made another appearance. Wow, I just got a heart attack. No,
Be on
Sorry
your
about
toes.
that.
oh man,
Okay, I turned my camera off for a second, so I swear to God, I freaking thought I did that because it happened at the exact same time. So I was like, what the
that
hell
would have
just
been
happened?
great. We discovered a glitch, but anyway, back to
I turned my camera and my mic off to sneeze really quick, and then I hear the war report music. I'm like, what the fuck?
It's fantastic. I think Steve was just doing it to give me the wrap it up music.
So no, we
Moving
actually
right along.
so real quick sidebar. So we have this new feature now in StreamYard where I can load the intro and whatever else I want to play
Oh,
as background, and it'll sound even better. The problem is when I went to test it out prior, apparently it doesn't work unless you're live. So I just hit the button just to see, and it did come through. So next week I'll have it ready to go.
and that means we can load up more Ric Flair dick pill commercials.
Oh yeah,
Did
absolutely.
we ever find that, by the way? I still
We
have.
played
Someone
it
has to
last
send me that.
We played one.
I
last week
sent
on
it in the
show.
group.
Oh,
Yeah.
last week. Yes, you're right. Never mind. My bad. I missed the show. I saw it afterwards. You're right.
And and it's in the chat if you scroll back, go back to last week.
It's got some other background shit on here too, like preloaded stuff. I haven't been able to
Like
fuck
music
with
and
it.
stuff. That's cool.
Well, like yeah, there's The Rock, which is not. I'm assuming The Rock, but
We're live at WNBC at 6:22 a.m.
all right. So it's
72
rock
degrees.
music.
Yeah, it's
There's a few of them. You got Night Driving. Is this one? It's fucking horrible.
Hello,
This
Tom.
is like the worst version of Name That Tune I've ever heard in my life.
So we're definitely gonna put our own music in there for
Oh,
sure.
yeah, but you can't have that. I mean, you can if you were working like a slow jams radio station overnight. Yeah, like sure, but that's
That's
not
like
us.
elevator hold music.
No, I was picturing like one of those. All right, we've got a request in. And
Yeah.
Your song goes out to Barbara from your husband. He said, "Baby, he's over the road trucker, and he's gonna be coming home soon. This one goes out to Barbara." Like, it's just like a slow jam, like, and then it cuts to like a Luther Vandross song.
You are my lady.
Exactly, it's just a
Oh,
slow jams radio station.
So there is something I want to go over. And I want to know if anyone knows a little more detail because I haven't really been able to find really the explanation of as to why. But I'm sure we all heard about the controversy at a house show recently with Natalya and Liv Morgan, where Natalya no-sold the finish, pointed at Liv and said something and rolled right out of the ring. Apparently, she's not pissed at Liv. Something I don't fucking know. Anybody have some detail on this?
You know,
Last I heard, they both have heat. That's all I've heard.
Why would Liv have heat?
I don't.
Yeah, I don't know why she would have it. It's not her fault. Steph,
Yeah.
you know that I hate when that happens when something goes on in a match and they blame the person that it's.
Well, not only that, but that's uncharacteristic of Natalya. Like she's usually like a true pro. So
Yeah.
something really like, but I don't have any detail as to what it was or.
Even Meltzer was very light on details. Like he did talk about it, and I read an article that included some quotes. Seemed to intimate, like you said, Natty Neidhart was mad about something, but they didn't know what she was mad about. Basically saying, I think they knew, you know, like Meltzer. It sounded like Meltzer probably knew exactly what it was, but didn't seem like something that he maybe wanted to disclose. But from
Well,
what
there's
I
a
can
first
tell,
for everything.
Not to.
yeah, from what I can tell, it seemed like the thing that came out of the conversation was she was mad at somebody backstage, non-specifically someone backstage. Could
Maybe
have
it
been the
was
person that
whoever
put
booked
together
the match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it can't be your husband. That'd be weird.
It's possible.
Well, did you see? There was a picture. I think maybe it was from last year. Somebody reposted on Reddit the other day, and it was of TJ Wilson's birthday party that Natty threw him. She
Yeah.
threw him a surprise birthday party and only invited the girls that he trained in NXT and that were on the between NXT and the main roster. So there was a big picture of him, Natty, and 15 other gorgeous women. And now
Go
all
TJ.
those yeah, I was gonna say all those pictures of Natty with her sister suddenly make a lot of sense. It was more for I think it was more for Natty than it was for TJ, but good for him. Uh, yeah, he found a
He wasn't complaining.
no, he definitely wasn't complaining. He's like, I might need to have neck surgery again after all this, but I'm in. Yeah,
boy.
Natty, non-specific person backstage she was mad at. Could have been the producer of the, or the agent for the match. Could be the booking. Whoever the creative decision that was made that then led to the match or the finish of the match.
That would make sense.
Because usually, when somebody does that, if somebody no sells, it's at a part of the match that they disagree with. Either the other person is not cooperating, or the other person's not doing well, performing well, or something. To no sell the finish means that you disagreed with the finish. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was a distraction roll up. I don't know if it was a legitimate Liv hit her finisher and pinned her. But if you
It was
no
off
sell the
ropes
finish,
Yeah, but you know what though? This is
Yeah.
what bothers me. Like, okay, so you're pissed about the finish, which is why you're no selling, but you're also hurting Liv in the process, and that's not right. This is a brand new champion. She's trying to prove
Yeah.
that she can be a champion, and you just no sold her finish. You know what I mean? Like, thank God it was a house show.
yeah, but also and it being Natalia that's doing this is also odd because she's
That's the weird thing.
veteran.
It's just right. It's not in her. It's not normal for her.
But like
Right.
you even said, the issue, I mean, at least from what I've been reading and whatever, I think you said it too, that it's not had anything to do with the two of them in particular. It was her being pissed about something that already or something from backstage. Don't take it out on Liv.
Exactly. Right. Exactly.
There's no reason to do that.
Right, because
Cry
ultimately
about it to
that
your
was,
husband.
and that's the thing. It ended up drawing, like Ryan said. Now Liv has heat for something that she didn't fucking do. So it's just address your own issues.
WWE logic right there.
Yeah, man. I don't. It really is WWE logic. Same as like, oh, they're dating. Let's put them on different shows and make them travel to different towns
And have them
because
date
that's
other people.
funny. Yeah.
But you brought up a really good point though. If she had backstage heat with somebody, go fucking tell it to TJ.
Yeah,
Stephanie's
that's
back.
what I'm trying to.
Stephanie's back. Hunter's back. You have all your allies that you said you've had for years there. What the
I
hell?
would think
Is he,
so.
are they really
That's-
back though? Is Vince really taking the back seat?
That's a fair question, Ryan. That is
and
a fair
that
question.
could be in maybe
But
that's
he's not
indicative.
normally at house shows, so somebody
That's
else
true.
was there that she
Yeah.
wouldn't have gone to Vince McMahon if there was an issue. The man.
Well,
rarely
correct me if
ever
I'm wrong,
goes-
but I think Jeff Jarrett is now running house shows.
Oh,
It may be. It may
Maybe
be.
it
But
was
like I
a problem
said,
with
if
Jeff.
there's an issue with, but here's the other thing. That wouldn't be the first time for that finish. This is a house show. It's the same finish in every freaking state. So
yeah.
unless this was a brand new match that just happened to debut with her being as the champion, which I buy, still is irrelevant to the match because this was discussed already. It wasn't like this happened 5 minutes before she went out there.
Right. And I finally found what I was looking for on Reddit here, and it says just kind of a recap of one of the Wrestling Observer radios. Around the 20-minute mark, Meltzer mentions the incident from the house show. He says Natty did have an issue, but it was not with Liv. Apparently, whatever was going on, Liv had nothing to do with it. Meltzer added that the issue was resolved later that night, but did not say what it was. That's the last I think he's spoken of. So
Then that means even more than that Natty was being unprofessional, which for her character is really unusual. So something's going on.
Yeah, so again, and it could be something as simple as this is the first time that she's had to deal with Jeff Jarrett as opposed to dealing with whoever was running the live shows, whether it was Vince or Stephanie or whoever else, and maybe there was just like some wires got crossed there, and miscommunication or any type, whatever it could have been, or just kind of learning
But you
how
would think
to
Hearts and the
work the cameras.
Jarretts wouldn't have that much of an issue with each other.
Yeah,
Historically, I mean, Owen and
that's true.
Jeff and
Yeah,
that
yeah.
whole.
No, you would think she would kind of get in that. Yeah, but also like she could also be thinking, hey, my husband is a producer, and I could, I wanted something changed, and he went to bat for me, and they didn't change it, and now I'm mad because
Yeah.
you know what I mean. So it could be something silly like that. We
Still doesn't mean make it then look like that's Liv's
no,
fault.
not right. Nothing. Yeah, it's unfortunate because it all kind of just does double back to it being Liv's, like,
See, and
it,
I
it,
love
it
and
affects
respect
Liv.
Natalia. I really do. But she's getting on my nerves a lot lately. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, she's like, yeah, was like, oh, she's so like spicy on Twitter, and she's like dunking on people, and she dunked on Rhonda, and I'm like, no, she's just being like rude. Like,
Yeah.
I don't. It's just
It's not
rude.
just me that she's
saying
being obnoxious, like for no
No, I
reason
think
lately.
I think it's really weird. Yeah,
She's trying to be edgy, but she's just
Right.
coming off as rude.
right. There's.
But I'm wondering now if this is the real Natalia and the one that we've loved for the past X amount of years is
Maybe.
the fake.
But the thing, like, so here's the thing, like when I do stand up, whether it's open mic nights or whether it's shows or whatever, there is a fine line, and it's kind of it kind of depends on where you are, place by place. But there's a fine line between being funny and being mean, and like roasting somebody and coming up with a line that's kind of a zinger, that's kind of poking fun at them, and then the flip side of that is just being like, hey, you're an asshole, and like, just being
Well,
very blunt about, like, there's a way
But
to
she
craft
has no,
a
but
joke
she has
around
no
it.
comical timing,
Right, she's
a
just
personality
saying,
whatsoever.
right, so she's just saying mean stuff. That's basically what it
It's not working.
And she's
trying
still
to do.
horrible on the microphone.
Exactly.
Horrible on
And
the
that's
microphone.
playing into her Twitter too, then whatever she's doing. There's just like that segment on Friday on SmackDown, like, I'm the one that really hurt Ronda's knee. Like, yeah, honey, it's not working for you.
It could be
I
the fact
really
that she
could-
has no timing with jokes, that it's just coming off as
Yeah.
She has
mean,
no
but she's trying to.
she has no on-screen charisma. She has what's known as the Hart curse, because a lot of the Hart family,
Yeah.
excuse me,
Bless you.
God
thank
bless
you,
you.
thank you. And it comes from them being Canadian. I think some of it comes from being Canadian. Some of it comes from the UK influence on Canada, in terms of like dry humor and stuff like that. I've met Bret Hart a couple times, and he's not traditionally funny, haha joke funny. He is dry,
Oh, very dry. He looks
Yeah.
miserable.
Mhm.
Miserable.
but like will say something that he's like Eeyore almost, but it's
But it
dry,
works for him.
but it's funny. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like with some of these, but then you get to like Bruce Hart and like the rest of the Hart after Brett and Owen, every other Hart brother, like the ones that came out at Survivor Series, you just watch them run by at that one, was it Survivor Series 94, 93,
Yep.
whatever it was, and they all came down and Brett was in the pink and everybody else
And they
was
were all in
black.
the black. Yep.
And you saw Brett, who looked like a superstar, Owen, who looked like a superstar, and three guys that looked like fucking substitute teachers. And then you understood what happened. You're like, okay, these are the guys. They can all wrestle. They're all very talented. Every Hart can wrestle. Even Natalia. I cannot knock her wrestling. She's really, really good at it.
But
Excellent
Natty's
in the
dad
ring.
is Jim the Anvil Neidhart. There should be some personality in there. Okay.
This is
With
why-
all the
this is why
hearts,
Vince
he's
should
just
still be in
absorbed their
charge.
personality.
Because you can't say that Jim Neidhart was flat, dark comedy, like, dry humor.
No.
That guy was everywhere, all over the place.
See, if Vince was still
I'm not
in charge,
asking her to do the laugh and pull on her hair, but
That's what he do. Vince would sit her down and be like, listen, Natty, not telling you have to do it, but there's cocaine on this table. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to, but I'm saying if you want, like,
I'm not saying that you need to do it, but I'm gonna turn my back and I'm gonna pretend it's not there regardless.
right?
Yeah.
So I knew this guy in college, real quick. I knew this guy in college. We watched wrestling. Natty was just starting to come up onto the main roster around this time, and we had this joke where what if she grew out her pubes really long and dyed them red, and then did the same beard stroking thing, but she had like out like the side of her out the side of her wrestling trunks, she would stick out, and then she could do the beard thing, but to big red pubes.
Ah!
Oh,
Right? Yeah, you know what I mean.
That's some good shit.
Yo, sorry. Oh no, I shouldn't put it out there. If it ever reached Vince McMahon, it would be
That's some good shit, kid.
like the exact opposite of the Red Rooster.
Now
I
I feel
think
like
I would
Dross.
die.
He's gonna puke.
He's gotta.
Look at Tara.
oh,
We were in the, oh no, there was just a little kid in frame. I was at the bar on Thursday, and people know I do wrestling stuff, and I'm involved in wrestling, and I watch wrestling. One of the guys turns around, he's like, "So," and he does talk. He's like, "Oh, so what'd you think of the whole Vince McMahon thing with the his employees? He's having sex with his employees?" I'm like, went something like this: "You're gonna suck my dick, or you're fired." He's like, "You sounded just like him." I'm like, "Yeah, dude, I've been working on it. Thank you." Fuck. But anyway, we've had Monday Night Raw as the crawl for about 20 minutes, and we haven't even talked about it.
And this has been more entertaining than Raw, just for the record.
Oh, was it?
I actually thought Raw was pretty decent. I haven't
You
gotten
say
all
that
the way through.
every week.
Yeah, well, listen, when you get Brock Lesnar fucking shit up, it's a
Okay.
good time, you know.
The pyro shit was hilarious.
Oh, the late pirate. Yeah.
yeah.
But the biggest
Three little
takeaway, well, there were a few takeaways. The biggest takeaways for me, number one, they're officially starting what's going to be the heel turn and joining of Dominic to the
Judgment Day.
Judgment Day.
Mhm.
That's already the verbiage was in the works. It's they laid the foundation, so that's
Absolutely.
coming.
Mhm.
The other big takeaway was the return of Dolph Ziggler and a face turn,
Yep.
which was
Going for this
interesting.
show's record.
You know, you got a good show in 2022 when main event Dolph Ziggler is your big draw.
You know what? If used correctly, Dolph Ziggler should be a main event guy.
Absolutely.
Because there's not many that can do what he does in the ring perfectly every fucking time he's out there. Like, when he says it, it's not shtick. Like,
Yeah, no,
he is solid every fucking time he steps in the ring and can cut a promo. And he had shown he can go both. He can do heel, he can do face. So I'm excited to see where this goes. I think him and Austin Theory, if that's what they're setting up, I think could have some solid fucking matches.
They're setting that up, but I mean, it's Eddie, and thank God Eddie's not here tonight. They're setting up for Theory to win at the end of this month, guys. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
They're talking about it too much, though. I think they're.
That's
I
true.
think the lady doth protest too much. In like they're just bringing. He even says, "Oh, I'm just going to walk in and step on the chest of whoever it is," and they're gonna.
But this is just it, though. Everybody's forgetting one part. This is a last man standing match.
Oh yeah.
All he
so what
has to
guys are
do
gonna
is
be-
make it a triple threat match, and the both of them are out for 10. Austin Theory is your champion.
I think we did talk about that. I think we talked about a couple.
We
weeks
talked
ago,
about
right,
that last week.
right after
Yeah.
Theory won.
Yeah, but I'm
we
agreeing
talked-
with that theory now, and I don't want to be. But
Yeah.
I mean, I will say if he is going to win, like that would be the only way I'd be okay with it because it's such a heel dick.
But it also
Exactly.
makes
Thing
him
to
look
do.
like a. It doesn't make him look strong or good. It makes him look.
No, it just makes
know
him
what I
look
mean?
like an asshole, which is perfect
Yeah.
because,
With a
like you said
asshole-
last week, he's got that face that you want to kick the shit out of. You know what I
But
mean?
it makes him
Oh, yeah.
look like an asshole that now is going to be set to go into a match that it would be Theory versus Dolph Ziggler. And that could be a series of championship matches with a storyline.
It could also be setting up Dolph Ziggler, costing Theory his cash-in opportunity.
True.
And, you know, I mean, there's a lot of things. So they're planting seeds. We just have to see
Right.
which direction they actually go. Tara, you're asking about Dom and Judgment Day. Basically, they had a tag match. But prior to the tag match, they cut a promo, Baylor and why am I blanking?
Damian Priest.
Thank you. And Priest. And they
Always
basically
forget the Puerto Ricans.
always. And they basically were telling Dominic that he should leave his father. He's doing nothing but holding him down, and he should join the Judgment Day. And then that led into a tag match. But they're planting that seed, so it's definitely going to happen. And you can't deal with Theory as champion. That I can't disagree. I would be pissed if Roman loses, to Austin Theory at the end of the day.
What if he comes
Rule number
and
one,
cashes
just get
in
rid of
the,
Dominic's
Money in the
mullet
Bank?
when he joins
Okay.
Judgment Day.
I didn't
Sorry.
get either of those.
I apologize, Ron.
Well, first Cat and then Ryan. We'll figure out each of these. We'll address these individually.
Go ahead, Ryan. You go first,
All right.
sweetie.
What if Theory comes out and he just gets murdered by both Brock and Roman?
Now
That
I
would be
love for.
amazing.
Wonderful.
Just comes in, tries to do exactly what he says, and just gets absolutely murdered.
Hmm. All right, and then Kat, what were you saying about- Oh my God, we got a spam.
Oh.
Hey man, you know what? We must be doing something right. We got a spam message.
You're lucky today. Our team gives you a promo code for 10 viewers for a whole day. Come
10
visit us.
viewers? Oh,
Get
shit.
Viewers Pro, and we will take you to the top of Olympus on Twitch. We
The
will
top of
provide you with
Olympus.
viewers and subscribers on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram and more.
The
Have a
top of
good
Olympus.
broadcast at Raw Press. Tired of advertising? We will help. Thank you, but no thank you.
But they
How
could
is
take
he
us to the
related
top
to
of
Sarah from
Olympus.
Nebraska?
Olympus. That's such a. I really appreciate that somebody took the time to write that and try to
Oh,
make
please.
it sound
That is
like,
a copy and paste.
But what I'm saying is
Yeah.
that the first person that wrote that tried to make it sound like somebody who spoke English wrote it, and they were so close. They're like 90% of the way there. And then when they say we'll get you to the top of Olympus, you're like, nah, this was not.
We don't know, honey.
It was an advertisement of
Yun
some
Jung
sort.
Ga, how the fuck do you even
Spam.
pronounce what
Yeah, it's
that
all-
name
it was-
is?
Yeah, spam. It's spam. But,
It's spammy spam.
and then what were you
Now,
saying
what
about
I said
Tom?
was Judgment Day's first decision is to get rid of fucking Dominic's mullet.
Solid decision.
Now, how about this, Cat? What if he keeps the mullet and they call him Dominic Guerrero?
Ooh.
Ooh. Ouch.
Right? Like as soon as he joins the group, he changes his name.
Wow.
Oh,
Call back to
Morikovich
the
just
feud.
brings the DNA
More
results and
daddy.
says this is what it really
Yeah.
was all along.
Right? But no, I'm trying to think, like, how do you realistically, unless eventually Dominic gets a mask and becomes a masked Mysterio,
Wasn't that
Having a
always
guy-
the plan? Like, I thought I heard, like,
I
the
thought
plan
that
was
was
always
initially a plan, yeah.
put a
But
fucking
here's-
mask on the kid.
but a guy walking around with the name Dominic Mysterio without a mask on. It's like the guy is like going around saying, "My name's Bruce Batman." You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing, buddy?
Bruce Batman.
You know, like
But I like the Dominic Guerrero thing now that you
that'd
said
be
that.
that would be so harsh. Like it would
They
be
would
such
never
a
do it.
distinct- I know they would never do it, but that's
But it would be great.
But
under
especially
those-
after Rey Mysterio just pulled the Eddie Guerrero last week, it would be
Yeah.
even more
Yeah.
like, you know,
But what are they? You know, what do you call this guy? You can't bring him into the Judgment Day stable with all these very serious. You know, we got all these people wearing black suits, and he's like, "I'm Mysterio." You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck? So is he gonna be like
I'm a lumberjack.
Dom,
That's okay.
Dominic D Mysterio? I don't know. I don't know what. Maybe they
What
got.
if he
I'm
just is
wondering if they have a
Dominic?
new.
Drops the
Yeah,
Mysterio.
maybe
Yeah.
he's just Dominic.
Sucks about the whole thing with Rhea Ripley now, with everything.
What's this shit about a heart monitor?
Now, apparently, from continuing with, because she suffered a brain injury, she had to have her jaw redone, and they noticed some irregular cardiac rhythms.
Yeah.
So
That
doesn't mean
really
necessarily irregular cardiac rhythms with a heart monitor. I mean, they can make you do it for a good 72 hours or whatever. I mean, Justin's had that a couple of times, you know, when he was having his tachycardia, but they got to figure out what it is to get it under control. And I think WWE might be extra cautious now, especially with what happened with Hunter, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Because they never knew that he had a congenital heart issue. So they may be going above and beyond now to make sure that the talent is somewhat safe.
Wait, Kat, I thought it was something with one of his heart valves, not his genitals.
Hey, I just know the medical terms. I don't mean I invented them.
Down where? Down here.
Down here.
But yeah, it's
2 words for you.
It could be nothing. That the Rhea Ripley thing, it could just be, you know, a lot of people get medical tests done and it comes back negative. So
right, but the fact that she was putting it online and showing it was kind of like, okay, what's going on, you know?
It's probably, you know, what the other thing it could be is her way of they may have told her, hey, don't tweet about this until we know more. But they didn't say, hey, take a picture of yourself and, oh, I happen to be wearing it. You know what I mean? It could have been for her to let fans know, like, hey, there's more. Oh, OMG. I don't know.
It was for your genitalia comment. It was a little delayed.
For the war report with the Dice Man. Oh. Something about Hunter's balls. He had a heart attack in his balls. Oh.
Now you're fucking Andrew Dice Clay. What the fuck does mono y mono mean?
I'm over here now. But no, her just, you know, it was a good way of addressing it by just taking a picture, you know, and be like, hey, this is me with it. And not just there could have potentially been a very, not backlash, but just a wave of like, oh my God, Rhea Ripley's dying kind of like tweets. You know, once you release a statement, hey, I'm on a heart monitor, they're checking for heart problems, then it becomes like Ringside News is reporting that Rhea Ripley is going to die of a heart attack in 3 weeks. And it's like, come on.
She is so gorgeous, though. I'm sorry. I don't care what anybody says.
No, she's real pretty. Who is she Isn't she seeing somebody on the roster now?
Buddy Murphy.
Oh, she's dating Buddy. Okay, that makes sense.
No, it doesn't. Raquel Gonzalez and Braun Strowman. Like, that makes sense.
Well, no, aren't they both Australian or something? Or is she English and he's Australian?
I think she's Australian. Is Buddy Murphy Australian?
Buddy Murphy's either Australian or New Zealand. So maybe it's a regional
I know she
thing.
is because she's the first ever female Australian superstar. That was like a big thing about her with NXT, and that was part of the issue with her with the WrestleMania thing a couple of years ago, because she couldn't get her visa back after COVID and everything while she was gone for a while.
And so also Melbourne, Victoria, Australia is Buddy Matthews, Buddy Murphy. So, you know, I guess maybe she likes little guys a little like kangaroo, Mike.
Now that's really funny that you were guys talking about the Malachi Black's faction and the Judgment Day faction, and they're both in relationships with each other.
Ooh, yeah.
Because we were having that whole comparison between AEW and WWE, and it was a copycat of the House of Black.
And now
they're together in real life. Yeah. That's actually pretty funny.
Speaking of House of Black, fucking Brody King had a hell of a match with Moxley on Dynamite on Wednesday.
Unreal.
Mm-hmm.
Then there was a stare down between Brody King and then Sting and Darby Allin came out. They had a stare down.
Mm-hmm.
Over the weekend, Darby Allin was doing an autograph signing at a mall somewhere, and Brody King attacked him, and like they had a brawl through the whole shopping center, which was pretty cool. And it seems like they're setting up something with the House of Black and Sting and Darby. And it also seems like from some of the promos that from past weeks, I think Miro has a thing with Miro being the Redeemer and talking about God and everything. I think Miro has also had his sights set on Malachi and the House of Black. All that sounds like a lot of fun. Any of those guys wrestling together and wrestling each other. I mean, Miro, since Miro got to AEW, and I know he had some injuries and downtime and stuff, but when he was TNT champion, he was on fire.
Yeah.
He was so good. And, hopefully he can get back to there. Speaking of great matches that are coming up, tomorrow night, Dynamite. The what was their name in WWE? What was their tag team name? Cesaro and Jack Swagger.
Real American.
Right.
We the People. Oh my God.
that was
the People.
Real Americans.
Was it the Real Americans? They were We the
Was
People.
it? Oh my
right?
God. All I remember is Dutch Mantle.
Yeah. Right. But they're gonna have a match tomorrow night. Claudio against Jake Hager. Kind of, they acknowledged it during Blood and Guts that they were tag team partners at one point, and now they're on the opposite side, and they were opposite side of Blood and Guts. Now they're going to have straight up singles match, and we talk about people being lacking charisma, like Jack Swagger, Jake Hager, not the most charismatic guy in the world, but you know what? That fucking guy can wrestle. And I think him against Claudio they're gonna beat the brakes off each other. And I have high, I don't want to say high hopes for this match, but I have pretty high hopes for this match.
I was slightly off. It's the Real Americans.
The Real Americans.
That's why Jack Swagger is good in a faction like with the Jericho Appreciation Society, because then he doesn't have to talk.
It's perfect. That's the spot for him. That's when he's the big guy that stands in the background and like does this, and ever so often says "nerds." You know what I mean? Like the guy from Revenge of the Nerds. Yeah.
See, if they did something like that with Ricochet would have a way better career.
Ricochet was, what was he in Lucha Underground? But he had a mask on.
Mm-hmm.
And that fucking worked because then he was like a character. It's almost like because he's out there. I get it. You're out there. Like when I'm ring announcing, I wear a suit and tie and a jacket and shiny shoe. You're out there basically in your underwear in front of all of these people. And they expect you to both talk and then perform athletically to a high standard on both points. So I can see how you would be nervous or self-conscious about it. But at one point, they got to realize, like, something's got to give. You make him, like, you put a mask on him, you make him do a character, you make him, like, do something to try and either break out of his shell like that, or the simplest thing that everybody's been saying since Ricochet got signed was get this guy a fucking manager. They used to do this all the time. You would have a guy that couldn't talk, like the Warlord. You know what I mean? Like, who gives a shit about the Warlord? But then you put him with Slick or Jimmy Hart or whoever. You know what I mean? Bobby Heenan, whoever you wanted to put him with. And
or the Berserker.
The Berserker.
Huss.
The Huss.
That's all he did. Yep.
That was all he did. He won his matches by count out. Yeah, so you had to have a manager. And just because he's not a big, imposing guy like the big 80s wrestlers of days gone by doesn't mean that he doesn't need a manager. Small guy, a guy that size could still use – they could use like – and maybe not this exact guy. Leo Rush would have probably been a good manager for Ricochet because he's smaller than Ricochet. So it's still a small guy, big guy dynamic like they usually like to do with managers.
You could have put him with a valet.
Yeah, they could have put him with
like almost like a Lana type character or something. Like not the Bobby Lashley Lana,
right.
But like the original Lana.
Yeah,
that thought she was Bridget Nielsen.
Yeah, or like put him in a tag team and have him like the other guy talk and he wrestles.
The Rockers.
Right? Yeah, Rockers, and then like factions, or like you said, you stick him in somewhere in a faction, and he's like who when X-Pac was in either the NWO or in DX, you weren't paying to see him talk. They'd send him out there to do his shitty little karate kicks. You know what I mean?
You want to see him for his Bronco Buster.
Right. He was
as long as
doing
his
the
ass
wrestling
didn't split.
stuff. Right. You had the Road Dogg to do the talking, and nobody was paying to see the Road Dogg wrestle, but you'd pay to see him talk. You know what I mean? Like you find the strengths and weaknesses of the people that you have on your roster, and you find ways to utilize them to the best of your abilities. But I guess when you're in the middle of one of the largest corporate human resource sexual relations allegations investigations of the last however many years, maybe you're not exactly focusing on Ricochet. I don't think Ricochet is your top priority amongst everything else that's going on.
It's the Vince way. You highlight the weaknesses.
Right? No, I
Put it
loved that.
right front and center, and
it was
in this area.
right. Oh, that was like when they saw Kurgan. Kurgan was dancing at somebody's wedding, and Bruce Pritchard was like, "Hey, stop fucking doing that. Vince is gonna make you dance." He's like, "No, I just like that. I like dancing," and he's dancing. Next thing you know, he's out with the oddities dancing. It's like, "See, you dummy, stop." But anyway, I guess we've got the notification up on the screen. It's time for us to sing the song that never ends. To do a little skinnamarink rinky doo. How else would you end a children's show? No, you remember the old?
I love you.
Yeah. There you go.
Oh,
Not the Barney song. Yeah.
You're basically describing my life every day, so this isn't anything
no.
different for me.
Well,
hot dog, hot diggity dog. Yeah.
Yes, this is the show that never ends. No,
It just goes on and on. I will say something cool though. There is actually a new Muppet Babies though.
Oh, really?
Yes, there was a
old Muppet
reboot of
Babies
Muppet
was good.
Babies on Disney Junior.
Oh, cool.
I did know of that because of watching my niece and nephew.
Yeah, and there's a
Well,
new
if I-
Blue's Clues on fucking Fortunately.
Oh, well, if I ever have kids, then I'll have them watch that stuff. That's great.
If you ever have kids, I'm good.
Oh.
Okay.
At one of these days, maybe. Who knows?
Okay, genetic jackhammer.
I've got the world's biggest grapefruits. I don't
Yeah.
know.
And
but
just
we
call
have
me Heath Slater. I got kids.
red hair, lots of kids. You're Heath Slater. Yeah.
Hello, how many redheads do I fucking have? 3 out of my
Perfect.
4.
I got kids. But we have the thing at the bottom of the screen that says thanks for joining us. See you next week. It's time for the end of the show. Steve, is there anything we you want to close out with or anything like that?
I think that's it. We covered it all. Tune in next
Wow.
week.
I'll be good. Goddamn. Yeah, of course. Follow us on all of our social media at TagMeADate. TagMeADate. It's all one word, no spaces. We're on Twitter and Facebook and Periscope and TikTok and all the basically anywhere you can put at TagMeADate. Just look for it. We're going to be there. Give us a follow. We live stream every Tuesday, 6 p.m. on Eastern time, between 6 and 7. We do an hour-long show. We live stream on Facebook. We live stream on YouTube. We're on Twitter and Periscope as well. And then twitch.tv/War Report. That's the only one that's different. Every other social media is at TagMeADate. Twitch is twitch.tv/War Report. And pick your platform. If you prefer to go on a Facebook Live, or if you prefer a YouTube Live, or wherever, Twitch or Periscope, whichever one you want. Just follow us at TagMeADate or twitch.tv/War Report. And we're here every Tuesday, 6 p.m. on Eastern Time. But if you prefer an audio version of the podcast, you can go to Stitcher, Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Google Play Podcasts. All you have to do is look for either TagMeADate or the War Report. If you're searching for the War Report, take a look at the icon. There are 2 different War Report wrestling podcasts. We've been around longer than the other one that just came around a year or 2 ago. But just make sure when you're subscribing, either the description of the podcast or the icon for the podcast itself mentions Steve, Vince, TagMeADate, all of the above. You'll see it. You'll definitely see it. So, also subscribe to YouTube if you'd like. Go to youtube.com, put TagMeADate in the search, hit subscribe, hit the bell to get notifications from when we go live. We have our archive of streams on the YouTube channel. But like I said, if you prefer to take the archive with you or the just the audio stream with you, go to your favorite podcast app, hit subscribe on there, Once the podcast is done at 7 p.m., within that hour, the audio gets pulled and uploaded to the podcast apps. So you can take it in the car or wherever it is that you listen to your podcast. So that'll do it for us this week. Thank you so much for watching. On behalf of Steve, Kat, and Ryan, I'm Vince for your host for the War Report. We will be back right here, live streaming on all these wonderful platforms I just described next week, Tuesday, 6 p.m. So until then, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to share the podcast with your friends. Tell your friends about it if they're wrestling fans. And I hope you have a nice rest of your week. Thank you so much for tuning in.